This exercise is incredible for your spine. Think about how important brushing your teeth is to oral health. That's how important this exercise can be to spinal health. So here it is. We're going to start with our feet about shoulder width apart. And then from the bottom up, what we're doing with our feet is corkscrewing our feet into the ground. So if my feet were on ice, my feet would go outwards. But because we have friction on the ground, our feet are going to stay perfectly parallel. So they're not moving outward. But we're going to put pressure as if we're trying to move something out away from our feet. And so what this is going to do is engage our entire posterior chain from our calves, hamstrings, glutes, all the way up to there. And so that's our base for the entire exercise. We're going to keep doing that the entire time. That's our base set. Next thing we're going to do is take a deep breath in. And you'll notice when I take a deep breath in, my rib cage rises with that inspiration. And then typically when I exhale, that rib cage collapses back down. But instead of allowing that rib cage to collapse back down, we're going to hold that space that we've created with the breath in. Hold that space, not allowing it to collapse back down, but I can still exhale like I'm talking to you right now, but my rib cage is staying elevated because I'm engaging my core all the way around. So that we're going to keep the entire time too. Deep breath in, holding that space. And you can use a measuring stick if you want to. So thumbs just below the rib cage and then pinkies right on top of the hips so that you can actually measure that space that you're creating with that inhale and holding that space to keep yourself accountable so that it doesn't collapse back down. But that's really all that we're doing for the first phase of this exercise is just holding that. Now we want to have perfect posture while we're doing this entire exercise, and so especially important to say right now at the beginning. So if you look at me from the side, I want ears over shoulders, over hips, over ankles. So I don't want any bending here, any way. We're perfectly straight here with our posture. Deep breath in, holding that space, and we're still corkscrewing our feet outwards while we're doing that, creating just a whole lot of core tension and posterior chain engagement. That's the basis for the first part of the exercise. The second part of the exercise is we're going to start going into a forward bend. And so with this one, it's extra important that when we do the forward bend, no motion is coming from the lumbar spine. The entire forward bend is created from our hips. So I typically like to bring my arms out just like this and then parallel with the floor through the entire movement. So I'll usually move on an exhale. You can move on inhale or exhale, whatever's better for you. But I'll take my first inhale, and then on the first exhale, I'm going to move a few inches forward with the hands and a few inches straight back with the hips. So there's not much bend at all happening in the knees, just an athletic stance. We're not going down into a squat. We're just gonna shoot our hips straight back, hands straight forward. So first exhale is here, second, here, third, here, and we're gonna continue that all the way down until we're horizontal, if we can do that without pain. So if at any point during this exercise, you start to get pain, stop at that point, come back or up out of that just a little bit, and then work in the motion that you don't have pain. But if you don't get pain throughout that entire motion, go all the way through it. So from here, I'll go through it. Nice big inhale, corkscrewing my feet outwards, bring my hands up, and then first exhale there. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you'll notice I'm not bending my knees with that. I'm not going down into a squat at all. We're shooting straight back with the hips, straight forward with the arms. So the reason that this exercise is so impactful and can be so helpful for your spine is because when we're creating that core tension and then shooting our hips back, what we're doing is creating tension here to space this area out and not allowing our rib cage to collapse down. And then when we do that hip hinge, we're actually stretching this part of the spine out with our own natural musculature. If you've ever been on an inversion table, you know what it feels like to have your spine stretched out, and it usually feels really good. But you can do that with your natural body musculature if you engage your core like this and shoot your hips back. And that does the same type of thing. So you'll create a natural traction and spacing for your lumbar spine and strengthen the muscles all the way around your spine that will help to protect it from injury and to help keep your discs nice and healthy.